Hi there lunatics, welcome to the October full moon or Hunter's full moon, also known as the blood moon or sanguine moon, which is more than fortunate because this is actually the week when new blood finally gets released. And for those of you that aren't aware of it, it's the orchestral version of my material.
Rain is coming down. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Climbing up on Salisbury Hill.
We've had a wonderful spell of hot weather, and it allowed me to get out canoeing down by on the little river by the studio. So that was a great excursion. Anyway, I've been out being a traveling salesman out to Canada, America, Germany, France, Italy, and a lot of telephone interviews. Been on the radio here a bit, and we're doing some Jools Holland's later, which for those that don't know, there's a great music program in England because they have all sorts, very wide range of music, and it really is about the music and very little else. And it starts with all the bands playing together, and then breaks off into the different artists. Anyway, it's a cool thing. We're doing a concert for Radio 2 over here in England with the BBC Orchestra. And then later on we'll be going to, I go to New York for a witness event, and then we start with these South American dates and Mexican dates in November. So we're getting ready for that a bit, and for that I think I mentioned last time both Melanie, my daughter, who's making me a grandpa around Christmas time, but cooking a baby at the moment, she's not coming, and Anna Brun has her own excellent record which she's out touring with at the moment. So, but we have found two wonderful singers. I haven't heard them rehearsing yet, but they have started working together. Jessica Hoop and Rosie Doonan are their names, and they both have stuff you can check out if you're interested on YouTube. Aside from that, it's the Archbishop Tutu's 80th birthday today when I'm recording this, which is the Friday before the full moon. So I was really disappointed because I couldn't get out there and join the celebrations, so I decided to write him a song which we wrote yesterday and got recorded. So it was written in a day, which it was good to remind myself that I can still do that. But he's such an amazing man, and obviously being the chairman of the elders and a real inspiration. You can just see it this last week. The South African government refused to give a visa to the Dalai Lama, who was going to come and celebrate his birthday, and they started putting out some bullshit about it being in the pipeline, and the Arch let them have it with his fierce and righteous tongue, and it was sort of devastating. He compared the ANC's policy towards visas, worse than the ANC, and said that when they were a struggling people that were oppressed, they had the help and support of the rest of the world, in much the same way that the Tibetan people are now being oppressed by the Chinese. And because most governments are really afraid of offending the Chinese in any way, shape or form, most let themselves be bullied, and he tells it like it is. Very few people out there do that. Another person who has done that and is also one of the elders, who I am a great admirer of, was President Carter, and he had an interview this week in London in the Festival Hall with Jon Snow, and I was asked if I'd go and sing Happy Birthday to him, which I did, and said a few words, and then a big cake was wheeled in. But the interview that he did with Jon Snow was fantastic, and again, both of these guys really saying what they think from the heart, not worried about being unpopular, but just saying things that need to be said, and speaking truth to power. It's wonderful, really wonderful to have got to know those people a little bit, and very inspiring. Other news from Real World Records: Charlie Winston, who's been out in America recording what I think is a great album. He's just got his first single, Hello Alone, coming out in France.
Hello, alone, you might as well come in. We've been making beds for so long now. I never told you that I want you. I thought I had you out of my head. Yeah. Whoa, but every time she leaves me, refusing to believe me, you're always there. And even though I don't invite you, and your presence is a pain, you always let me be just who I am, until I'm glad to bring back that refrain again. Hello, alone, it's you and me again. How can we pretend we've never met? Ooh, hello, alone.
This a track, Lift Me Gently, which looked like it was going to be left off the album at one point, and I was campaigning along with a few other people very hard to get it back on, and it's, I think, one of the most beautiful songs he's written, so I'm very happy that's now back on. Iarla O'Lionaird has an amazing record called Foxlight. He's been working with a guy, Leo Abrahams, and these are some magical and moody arrangements that I think it's the best thing he's recorded. I love his voice. I've always been a fan of it since I first heard it with the Afro-Celts.
All we tried to do, where we try to go, when we reached out and we let go. Once you said all we ever had would come undone.
Portico Quartet have been busy recording and producing the record themselves, and I think all accounts that's going really well. And Spiro, who I think have this fantastic combination of acoustic music and dance vibes with acoustic instruments. They're back in the studio as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. Along with many others, I was very sad to learn of the death of Steve Jobs. I think for someone who had pancreatic cancer, he managed to survive for 8 years, which in itself is fantastic. But it's rare to see someone with that sort of sense of visionary commitment to what the future could be, running a company. I think he would say that our job is to design what people will want, not what they want. There's a great address that he gave at Stanford University, which you can get on YouTube, where he quotes the Whole Earth magazine, because he was, besides being this corporate head and sort of driving, obsessive perfectionist, there was a part of him which is a bit of an old hippie, not unlike myself, and he used to love the Whole Earth catalogue and Whole Earth magazine, and he quoted the back of the last edition of that magazine: "Stay hungry, stay foolish," and that's good advice. On that note, I'll sign off. Thanks. Have a good month.